Okay. First off, I haven't made a video in over a week and a half. I was going to say I suffered depression. Suffer's not the right word. More I live with depression. And that's not the sort of thing where you wake up in the morning and it's gone and you can just jump back into what you were doing before. So basically I have to punch out this video so I can make a hell of a lot more videos. I've got a lot of video topics to talk about, but I want to start this week off with Labor's crap electricity promises and how they must think we're fools. So here I've got something from the ABC. Labor promises to shave $150 of electricity bills in fresh election pledge. Now, after a week of them talking about this, I can't work out whether we get this energy relief if Labor wins the election or whether it's coming in the budget. Some news stories tell me that we get this $150 if we vote for Labor. Other ones just tell me that we're getting this $150. One thing I want to say to Labor, when you want to buy me vote, Labor in Queensland gave us all $1,000 off our electricity bill a few weeks before the election. Queensland households will get $1,000 off their electricity bills in the 2024-2025. The rebate will automatically be credited to eligible residential customer bills from the 1st of July 2024. There is no need to apply. Exact timing will depend on individual billing cycles. So yeah, if you want to buy me vote's worth a lot more than $150, Albo. Now, seeing they brought up electricity, and electricity's a massive issue with me. I live in outback country Queensland. My electricity bill over the course of the Albanese Labor government has gone up $1,000 to $1,500 a year. That's over the course of the last 3 years. Electricity has gotten to the point where, even though I'm a hermit, even though my house is my redress and the property I live on is my mental health medicine, it's the only way to describe it. It's better than taking Cyprexa and drugs like that. This week I'm probably going to put an ad online looking for someone to share the house with just to cover my electricity bills, because they're getting to such a point now that I can no longer afford clothes, and food is becoming an issue all over the electricity bills. Somebody on a disability support pension can't afford $1,000 to $1,500 a year extra in power bills. I only make just under $20,000 a year. But anyway, here's a news story from Tuesday the 2nd of April. So that would be from last year. Again from the ABC. I can't afford subscriptions to newspapers. So the Guardian is just so biased. Even though I agree with a lot of what they say, their bias is so bad, I can't use them as a source. They're not a reliable source. So residents in regional Queensland are seeing their power bills shoot up as the cost of electricity increases by 38% last year. Regional Queenslanders also use more electricity this summer. I don't have an air conditioner, so that's not an issue for me. What I do have is a water pump, with Ergon Energy recording a 7% increase in usage. Electricity bills have skyrocketed for regional Queenslanders, and the reason I'm bringing all this up is Labor promised us, and rather than just looking at the news stories, I've actually gone back to the media release from Friday the 3rd of December 2021 from Chris Bowen, MP, powering Australia's Labor's plan to create jobs, cut power bills and reduce emissions. The reason I'm showing you this is I want to point out how Labor will just make up big porky lies. The media will pretend that that's going to happen. The media won't even talk about how that hasn't happened. And so it all gets forgotten about. But the election promise we were given on electricity by Labor, by Albo and Chris Bowen, just before the election, just before they got voted in. Powering Australia. Creating jobs, cutting power bills and reducing emissions by boosting renewable energy are at the centre of Labor's Powering Australia plan. This plan will bring cheaper renewable energy to Australian homes. Because they can't just magically drop the electricity bill. They had to have a plan of how they were going to do that. And in this media release is how it is. It will spur $76 billion in investment. It will cut power bills for family. So that would have been recorded as the government's going to invest $76 billion. And that's not what it says at all. It will cut power bills for families and business by $275 a year for homes by 2025 compared to today. That's very important. So the promise that Labor gave us on electricity at the start of the last election is that my electricity bill for the next bill should be $275. So times that, divide that by 4, you get $450, and whatever 75 is divided by 4. Again, I left school at 13, but yeah, divide that by 4. My next bill should be $1/4 of $275 cheaper than what my bill was in 2022. My bill's $1,500 more expensive. Because it's been summer, it's a little bit cheaper. My bill goes up at winter time. That's because it's the dry season and heating costs a lot of money. Powering Australia, so that's what they promised us. Our bills will be $275 a year cheaper than our 2022 bills. And if you've got a family, I can guarantee you that your bill is a hell of a lot more than the $1,000 extra I'm paying a year. Now, how were we going to get here? They were going to upgrade the electricity grid to fix energy transmission and drive down power prices. Has that happened? Have they done that? Has the media? I don't know how to check. If anyone wants to check for me, can we find out whether that's happened? They're going to make electric vehicles cheaper with an electric car discount. And Australia's first net, we're just subsidising rich people's cars with policies like that. Can I get my car subsidised? Idiots used to make jokes about First Nations people getting free cars from the government. I'll tell you one thing, the middle class are getting free electric cars from the government just about, eh? what was the other thing? There's one other thing in here that's very important. Oh, here we go. They're going to roll out 85 solar banks around Australia to ensure more households can benefit from rooftop solar. Have they done that? Because this is how they were going to drop the bill. I don't know whether they've done that or not. The other thing they were going to do was install 400 community batteries across the country. Have we had 400? Because this is how they were going to drop the electricity bill. And I don't think that any one of these things have been done. Have they installed 400 community batteries across Australia? Right. So when you actually look at the press release about the policy to do with energy and saving us money, it's just a load of bullshit. Right? A few weeks before the last election, they came out with a load of bullshit, and the media came out as if it was honest and true, and have reported on it for the last 3 years as if it's honest and true. And Labor hasn't done one of these single things that may have dropped our electricity bill. So they didn't do the things that were going to drop our electricity bill. How the hell are they ever going to drop the electricity bill? But the whole policy was a bullshit lie. And the reason I get angry about these things when it comes to Labor is I used to be a hardcore Labor supporter. And this is why people like me have left Labor. Because they're in some green futures cult that isn't a green future. And if you actually spend 20 minutes looking at our renewable green future, you'll find out it's not, one, renewable, two, it's not green. We had a massive war here to stop windmills from killing tree kangaroos and wiping out forests, and people like I've forgotten his name. His dad tried to buy BHP. He makes most of his money by mining, but he'll keep on telling you we've got to electrify everything. You got to be dodgy on these things. Simon Holmes a court. Yeah, people like him were very pro destroying the forest to put the windmills here. The forest I live in borders on World Heritage Forests, and if you keep on driving down the road a little bit, you end up in the Daintree. So that's all I can say about that. Now, other things that today in Parliament, Labor's putting through legislation that's going to exempt the salmon industry from environmental rules. My question to that is, what else are they going to exempt in the future? Once you exempt one industry, you make it possible to exempt all industries. Soon it will be mining, and it will be farming, and it will be everything that you'll just be able to destroy the environment if it's economically viable for the country. It's not economically viable to ever destroy the environment, but I'm a greenie. But yeah, so that's your Labor thing. We're going to an election. The election's going to be called on Friday. We're going to be full on in election mode by Monday. And I really want everyone to remember the big lie Labor told us about electricity. And the main reason that we don't have our electricity savings of $275 a year, 2022 power prices, is because they haven't done anything that they said they would do in relation to getting us there. Now, if you don't hop in the car and drive down the road to Townsville to go and get the stuff that you can only buy in Townsville, well, I guess you're going to have to do without that stuff. Well, that's what Labor's done.